There we go. There we go. Okay, hi everyone. Hello. Always your Alice. It's me, reisaforte. And welcome to Reisa to the Rescue's mid-season special. Woo! I apologize for being a little bit late. I had there's a bit of a situation here at home, so let me have some water. There is a bit of a situation. So, it prevented me from going live at 12. I apologize, but you know what? We're here now. I was so confused. I was streaming for a couple minutes before, like, the stream actually started, and I saw I had to hit go live. I'm like, what? Also, I have, changed the bitrate, so now the stream status says it's healthy, so hopefully we should be all good. Let me know if we're not. This BGM is listed in the description. And since it is a YouTube link, you should be able to click it. I love free BGM. Very cool. But yes, today is the mid-season special. And this is, I have streamed on YouTube before, but the streams were not good. So this is my first real YouTube stream. Expect some scuff. It's fine. I apologize for any bullshit. Also, YouTube is mad at me, so I hope that nothing bad happens to the stream. So, yeah. They didn't like when we uploaded those shorts a couple times, so gotta be careful. They said something was gonna happen to my live streaming ability, but I don't know what. But, yeah, here we are. It is the mid-season special, everybody. Races to the Rescue Season 1 will have 12 episodes, just like your favorite anime. So, yeah, this is mid-season. This is episode 6, baby. I hope that we're excited. This episode might not be very funny. Because it's themed about a thing that I've gotten a couple of questions about. And so I'm like, you know what? Let's just get them all done, because this is, like, legit questions. And it doesn't feel appropriate to answer them in a regular Races to the Rescue, so I figured let's tackle this this theme. And what is the theme? Oh fuck, I did that wrong. Sorry. Dear Reisa, I want to do one of these things, right? But I don't know how to get started. What should I do? And what these things are. Oh, by the way, how's the volume level, everybody? Is that okay? If the volume's bad, I'll re-say it. But this is about music, specifically covers. Volume's great, perfect. It is about covers, baby. So if you guys don't know, I'm a virtual idol. I've done a couple of covers. You know, only a few. So, I might have some knowledge on this topic. So, who knows? But yeah, I'm here to tell you how to do it. This is for, like, beginners, people who, like, do not know jack shit. So, yeah. Aw, thanks. So what you want to do first, you know, if you want to be a V-singer, if you want to do covers, if you want to sing, whatever, my opinion, right, is that first you should find your style. And that means, like, oh, fuck, what the hell? Why'd it go backwards? Anyway, what do you feel confident in? What kinds of music do you sing that you feel good about? What kind of music do you sing that you think your voice sounds good in, you know? What feels comfortable to sing? Don't sing anything that fucking hurts your voice. Why did it go away? What the fuck? Okay, there it is. Google Slides has been a little questionable. I apologize. You want to, like, I think a lot of people sing songs out of their range just because the song is popular. I'm gonna turn up the brightness on my phone. But, like, if the song doesn't feel good, don't fucking do it. Your voice is a muscle. Don't, don't push yourself too hard with it, ever. Especially if you're just starting out doing music shit. Like, you need to train your voice. You know, you're not gonna run a marathon if you've never walked before. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a little silly. So, sing shit that feels good. And then, what do you want to sing? If you hate fucking, you know, any trendy song right now, don't just sing it because it's trendy. I get it. The desire is there because you can, like, capitalize on views, whatever. Personally, I believe, like, if you don't like the song that you're singing, it shows through. There was a song that I covered that I didn't really like. It was when I was pre-debut. There was a song that I covered that I did because people wanted me to do it, but I didn't like the song. I didn't feel passionate about it. I just kind of did it, and it came out kind of half-assed sounding. So I just am like, I don't know. I think if you don't want to sing the song, it will show through your performance. Like, unless you're a really fucking good actor, it'll show through. So, you know, if you love Disney music and you're like, you know what, I love this type of song, you know, these songs feel good in my vocal range, I feel confident when I sing these, I feel like I'm able to do a good job with those types of songs, then sing Disney shit. Just be careful. Be careful. If you're like me and you feel good about Vocaloid shit, then, like, do Vocaloid shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's all about following trends. I don't think it's all about doing what everybody else is doing. I do really believe that following trends will help you in some regard, but, like, at the same time, if everybody's doing, you know, take the song Idol by YOASOBI as an example. That song is a very difficult song because it goes very high and it can get a little bit fast. And it's like, if you're a beginner, that song might not be very comfortable for you. And if you don't feel comfortable in the song, you might not feel very confident in it. And it's like, you might want to sing it, but if every motherfucker's doing it, then it's like, it's gonna be hard to find your cover. You know what I mean? I feel like if there's too much saturation of a song, it's very difficult to stand out. That's why for really big songs, you kind of have to capitalize early. But if you're a beginner, you might not be able to capitalize early. You might need to give yourself some time to learn the song, learn yourself. You know what I mean? So just do what you feel like you're gonna excel at and have fun with, you know? Don't just do what everybody else is doing because it works for them. Find what works for you. And then, I was talking about this earlier, work out your voice. What? This is so weird. On my screen, it's showing the find your style again. Hello? Oh, there we go. This is foul. This is very scary. I don't like how... Ugh! It flashed. Hang on. Hang on. Can we, like, maybe not do it like this? What the fuck? Okay, let's look at this again. Okay, so if you want, hang on, I need to actually drink water. Me clearing my throat is not anything to do with my voice, I promise. It's just something I do constantly. I'm a person who has a lot of phlegm build up in my voice or in my throat, so I feel like I have to clear my throat all the time, even if I don't have to. Plus, I think it's a nervous reaction, but that's different. That's separate. So what you want to do for this, like, if you are new to singing, I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of people that I know, including myself, don't do vocal warm-ups like we should. You're supposed to do them. You are supposed to do them. Do not be like me. I'm probably damaging my voice. but doing vocal warm-ups is supposed to be the same type of thing as stretching before you exercise, which I know a lot of people don't stretch before they exercise either. But especially if you are new to singing, you should be doing vocal exercises, because it'll help a lot. Not only with like, you know, your ability to hit notes, like, you know, if you're a person who's like, oh shit, I'm tone deaf, I'm horrible, vocal exercises and warm-ups can actually help you learn techniques to improve that. So I would highly recommend that. But they also can help you make your voice stronger. They can, you know, improve your range, especially. You can learn things like vibrato, which is when your voice goes like, you know, like that type of thing. It's when your voice gets all bouncy. So, yeah, you should do them. But there's a couple ways that you can seek these out. The first way is by getting a vocal coach. I say only do this if you are like serious about... It went away on my screen. It's still there for you. I don't know why it's doing this. I'm just gonna go based off of the screen that's in front of me. I won't look at the other screen. So a vocal coach, I would say, is for people who are very, very serious about really learning that technique one-on-one and getting that immediate feedback. But I don't think it's necessary. Like for me, so my vocal coach experience, I had a vocal coach when I was a child, like very small, like when I was like 6 or 7. And because I had dual, I had dual piano and vocal lessons. But it's like, do I remember or use any of the techniques that guy taught me? No. I was in choir in middle and high school, but that was not one-on-one teaching. You know what I mean? That really is the same thing to me as watching a YouTube tutorial. Oh, I didn't realize you could see my mouse. Let me take that off. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. Anyway, yeah. Oh, I just realized my cursor's not even on. I commissioned a cursor. I forgot that I have to put it back on after every time I restart my dumb computer. Sorry. Anyway, this is what I would recommend for beginners because it's free. Vocal coaches can get very expensive very quickly, especially if you see them on a weekly basis. YouTube is free. There are vocal exercises for every level, and oh my god, I have to drink water again. I'm so sorry. I'm not giving myself good credentials. It's like, why should I take vocal advice from you? You sound like shit. I apologize. I just ate. Let me clear my throat a little bit, like proper. Where's my mic here that I can mute? There we go. I like just had a sandwich, so I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. Anyway, there are a lot of different channels with a lot of different vocal coaches. Some just play a piano for you and just tell you like, hey, say me, mamo, moo, you know, whatever. But there are some that are a bit more interactive with you. Let me see, do I have, yeah, okay. But for those, I should have put this as a sub-bullet, but I believe that it's good to, like, if you're gonna do YouTube, you should record yourself, because, like, if you record yourself going along with the vocal warm-ups, you can hear yourself and say, okay, this is what I need to improve upon, this is what I don't. When I do covers, I typically like to do a test recording, you know, like a little rehearsal almost, just to see, like, okay, this is how I sound on this song, this is kind of what I can expect, okay, I don't like how I did this, maybe I should try putting a half step here or whatever. I think that it's always useful to record yourself, you know, whether you're doing warm-ups or you're planning for a cover. So, you know, I feel you can't dismiss all of your experiences, although like each experience you've done, let's say, added plus 10 XP, whereas some of aspiring VSingers may not have had vocal coaches. Oh yeah, I mean, that's fair. But it's hard when, like, you don't you don't remember, because it's like I moved, so I only took those vocal lessons for like a year and a half. So then I moved, and then I didn't have any training until I went to middle school. So I had to wait another 2 years to get that, and even then it wasn't one-on-one. So I feel like what I learned did not really stick, especially since this is something I do want to say about vocal coaches as well. I think it's difficult to, like, if you want to sing in a Disney style, you are not going to have a problem finding a vocal coach that is going to teach you what you want to learn. If you are someone who wants more of that pop music sound, if you want to sound like Britney Spears, there are not going to be a ton of vocal coaches that want to do that, because in my experience, when, like, not that I've gone to a vocal coach recently, but when I've talked to people about vocal coaches, sorry, I burped a little bit. A lot of vocal coaches go a much more traditional or classical route. So they will want to, like, go more of that choral proper thing, because it's just, that is like proper technique, you know? Like, you know, the way that I sing, I've had conflicting reports. I've been told before that the way that I sing is not healthy for my voice because I use my head voice. I've heard also that it's perfectly fine to use your head voice. So I don't know what the truth is. I am not, I don't have a degree in this. I'm not an expert in vocal coach work. But it's just something to keep in mind that, you know, if you're not going a Disney musical theater type of route, then vocal coaches, like, you'll have to be a little bit more selective in where you go. Your options may be a little bit more limited. So something to keep in mind with that, but yeah. Who would have thought that a browser would, like, be such a nightmare? My, like, OBS, like, looked real scary and glitchy. Sorry. I hope I'm not sick. Okay. So, what equipment do I need? This is a common question that I see, like, not even asked at me, but I feel like a lot of VSingers, you know, especially the bigger ones, get asked, what equipment do you use? Because, it's like, there is so much out there, it's like, I don't know what I need. So here's my opinion. Here's my expert opinion as someone who started recording covers when I was 12. So at bare minimum, I would recommend that you get some kind of microphone and a recording software. So as far as recording software goes, I've heard that Audacity is, like, on the outs. People don't like it anymore. That was, like, the standard free software for years and years and years. But what I hear people use now is Reaper. I don't know jack shit about Reaper. I just know that people like it. I think from what I've heard, it has more options than Audacity. It's a higher quality program, so go with Reaper if you're going to use like a free recording software. For me, I do all of my shit in a program called Mixcraft. Nobody uses it and nobody knows what the hell it is, so I don't recommend it because nobody knows what it is. But for paid stuff, a lot of people use Cubase, a lot of people use FL Studio. There are some people who use Adobe, so there's a lot of paid options, but if you're just starting out, just go with something free. It's not worth it. It is not worth it to make a huge investment. And that's what I say for the microphone as well. If you are just starting out, and we'll talk about this in a later bullet, you do not need an XLR microphone with an interface and everything if you are recording your first ever cover. If you already own that stuff, great. If you don't, do not purchase it. That shit gets expensive very, very fast. You are fine using a cheaper microphone. I wouldn't say, record on your fucking iPhone, right? But, you can get a microphone that's probably perfectly fine for $100. I wouldn't go too much cheaper than that. I'm not a microphone expert, but you know, it's like you're fine with a USB microphone. I use a USB microphone. My microphone is $150. And I've been told that the quality is pretty fine. You hear a lot of white noise when there's no instrumental in the background. I'm sure you can hear some white noise now, but when it comes to covers and stuff, you know, my mixer has not had a big problem with it. So, you know, Black Friday hurt me on my mic setup. I bought a HyperX Quadcast S and an Elgato boom arm. Now, you see, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I will say, I have heard that certain mics are better for streaming and certain mics are better for recording. I don't know all about that. I don't know. I use the same mic for everything. I do think that will change once I move though. But we'll see. But yeah, mics can get expensive very, very quickly. I truly do believe that it's better to just like start small. But here are some things that are nice to have. Sound panels or noise-free recording space. So here's a common misconception, at least in my experience. Maybe other people have different experiences, but for me, putting up like sound panels or like having one of those like Amazon recording booths will not make you like, it's not going to prevent your neighbors from hearing you sing. What these do instead is like they block out a lot of white noise that you might hear during the recording process. Like, listen to this. That's because I don't have any soundproofing. And I mean, I'm also using a USB microphone, which is generally lower quality than other microphones, but still, it's like, that's white noise. If you have, like, when I'm recording a cover, I have like this little, this tiny little foam thing that I put behind my microphone, and it kind of helps a little. But I don't have sound panels on the walls because this is not, I don't own this room, so I can't, I don't feel comfortable putting shit up on the walls like that. But, so, you know, it's like, yeah, but if you have like a noise-free recording space, that's great. I know a lot of people record in their closets, but like for me, in my case, I mean, I'm not going to record at my apartment just because I'm very loud and I'm nervous about it. I'm even nervous about streaming at my apartment because I'm so loud. You guys know that I kind of scream sometimes. But even if I wanted to record covers in my closet, I don't have a closet that's big enough for that. So I don't know how people do that. But yeah, and I agree, it does help to read reviews for sure. It also helps to have a pop filter. Mine, I feel like, doesn't do jack shit, but pop filters prevent that air noise that you hear when you go p. You know, it's supposed to soften that. So those aren't too expensive, but I'd say if you're not if you're not like real serious about your covers, I don't think it matters. You know what I mean? You don't need to fucking get that shit. And then the last thing that I would put, this is not equipment, but it's brain equipment. It's some experience, it's some knowledge, music theory awareness, or some kind of music education. And here's why I say this. If you are doing a song that has a lot of harmonies with it, unless those harmonies are provided or it's really easy to look it up, like if there's like a MIDI file that you can download and just kind of extract, like, you know, or if you can purchase harmony guides, even better. But if you do not have access to those things and you really want to have harmonies, it's important to understand how notes work and how chords work, because some notes will sound good together and some notes will not. So it's good to know, like, okay, how is this supposed to sound? When I do all of my covers, I always do MIDIs. Like I create those from scratch. I'll create a full melody line that's based on, you know, what the song is by default. I won't add any type of like ad-libs. I won't add any type of, you know, pitch splits or anything. I'll just have it be super vanilla, and then I will go in and make the harmony line as close to the original song as possible. So then that way I can kind of see, okay, this is how I have to sing it. Because contrary to popular belief, if you go to a mixer, they can create artificial harmonies, yes, but they will not always sound super good. It's always better to record harmonies separate so that you at least have the option, because sometimes artificial harmonies just sound very artificial. So yeah. Reisa, kind of off topic, but would you say there are two kinds of V-singers, where one is good at live singing and the other where they're great in the studio creating covers? Yes. Yeah, I would say I'm closer to the latter, but it's not necessarily like, how do I put this? I think it's difficult to say like how that works, because I don't think it's anything to do with someone's talent, really. Obviously some people can get covers done where there's a lot of tuning, which we'll go into what tuning is later, but you know, they might sound entirely different from how they sound live, and it's like, yeah, that person might have a ton of work done on their vocals to sound a specific way, but I think for the majority of people, like in my case, right, I personally don't think I sound as good live, not because my talent is different. You guys can, you know, listen to my older covers. Most of my older stuff, I would say at least half of my catalog is mixed by me, but I get nervous. I get nervous, and whenever I do karaoke streams, I feel like I get nervous, and so I try to overcompensate by being really loud. And so I'll like blow out, and I don't do vocal warm-ups, of course, so I feel like I blow out my voice in the first like 2 or 3 songs. And then by the end, I like can't hit any notes. Meanwhile, if I'm like offline, I can sing for much longer. So I think I have like, I'm just not used to it. And I get very self-conscious. I'm like, if I don't do it perfect, then I get really nervous. I'm like, oh, I don't want anybody to think I can't actually sing or anything like that. You know what I mean? So it just is like, you know, I think it's different. But I also think that the reverse can be said for people who get nervous in the studio. Because, you know, I record, oh my God, voice crack. I record by myself, right? I don't have a vocal director. If anything, I'm my own vocal director, because I make the MIDI and I listen to everything back. I probably, I'll record the same line, like, I'll record each track like 4 times, and I'll go through and I'll pick the best takes, and then I'll send that over to my mixer. But there are some people who get really, really nervous, like, when they are recording, because they're like, oh shit, like, if I mess up, then it'll be like recorded, you know, and I have to deal with that. And some people just like do not want to listen to their own voice, especially raw, because it's like, oh God, like this doesn't sound right. And you know, it can be very easy to doubt yourself. So I think that I definitely think that there are people who are more like me and sound a little questionable live, but are okay in the studio. There are some people who sound better live, but get a little nervous. I think it's really just a matter of nerves for everyone. And also technique, because if you're doing a really intense song, that might be recorded over the course of a couple days. A lot of songs are not recorded in one take. So, pulling back the curtain, everyone, most covers that you are hearing are not done in one take. Most people are picking, you know, doing what I said, recording multiple takes and picking and choosing the best of each take and putting it together so you get the perfect version of what you know, was done. So it's not that your faves aren't talented when they sing live. It's just literally like, yeah, that's just what happens when it's in one take. So yeah, let me clear my throat again. Clearly, I'm not a great talker either. Frankenstein's J-pop. Yep. It happens in all music. Happens in, you know, English music, Japanese music, Korean music, all of it. Any language. So what microphone should I get? That is probably the most common equipment question. So I say, consider these factors. consider your price range. Do you want to spend $100 or do you want to spend $1,000? If you are a beginner, I've said it before, do not spend $1,000 fucking dollars on anything if you are a beginner. Simply do not do it. Do not do it. And then consider if you want an XLR or a USB. So it was brought up in chat, Lotus said, if anyone wants to have a mic that can naturally deal with white noise like that, look at dynamic mics. Recommendation is something like the Shure SM7B. So here's the thing about XLR mics. Generally, they are going to be more expensive, especially the Shure. The Shure is very expensive. It's a very famous microphone. A lot of streamers use it. Now, I'm not an expert in these because I've never used one. Most people, especially singers, will tell you you should be getting an XLR microphone because they're higher quality and more customizable and everything. And I agree, but the thing is, again, price and experience level. Do I have experience level on here? Yep. Okay. So it's like, if you've been singing, like, I personally should probably be getting an XLR microphone at some point because I've been singing since, forever. I started releasing covers as a 12-year-old. You know what I mean? I have to clear my throat again. I'm so sorry. Hang on. My brother is sick right now, so I'm hoping I'm not getting sick. Please forgive me. But yeah, it's like, I use a USB, but I should probably be getting an XLR. If you're a beginner, you should probably have a USB as well. I find it more often that singers or music artists tend to have condenser mics. Yes, so that's what I wanted to get into. So I've done a lot of research on this. I would not say I'm an expert though because I have not used one. From what I know, a dynamic mic is better for live performances and a condenser mic is better for recorded studio work. So if you are streaming, a dynamic is probably fine. If you are recording music, you might want to do a condenser. I think most people get a condenser. I know a lot of people get the Rode NT1 or the NT1A. I feel like there was another one that people get. Maybe it is the Shure, but a lot of people tend to go the XLR route. But the thing is, if you are getting an XLR, you need to keep in mind you cannot use the mic on its own. The beauty of a USB microphone is that you can just plug it into your computer and you're good. You can just use it. But with an XLR microphone, you need to get a mixer or an interface. Now, mind you, when I say you need to get a mixer, I don't mean like someone who mixes the song for you. I mean like a piece of hardware. I believe there is a difference between a mixer and an interface, but I don't know what it is. I'm just gonna use the word interface because it's gonna be less confusing for newcomers, but yeah, you will need to get an interface. So it's like these microphones are expensive and so are the interfaces. And it's like, I've heard a lot of people say that, the quality of your mic will depend on the cords that you get or the wires. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, this is a piece of advice. Never buy a used interface from a thrift shop without doing proper research. Good idea. That is a good idea. Because, yeah, I can assume that a lot can go wrong with that. Because, yeah, apparently with XLR microphones, half of the quality comes from the interface that you use. And it's like certain microphones are like super compatible with some interfaces and not others. So, if you're looking into an XLR, I would say do not start with one. Do not start with one and do your research. Something that I'm going to do, if I ever get an XLR microphone, I'm going to take the advice of other VTubers. I'm going to look at what other people use and just go with that because it's already been tested. If I like the quality of somebody's microphone, I'll probably be like, yeah, that's fine. You know what I mean? So yeah. Oh yeah, something to consider is other mic uses. So are you using this microphone solely to record covers or are you going to be streaming as well? That is another thing to consider as well. That's something that might impact your budget. If you're like, I'm only using this to sing and I'm only gonna sing like twice a year, maybe get a cheaper microphone for it if you don't already have a microphone. Otherwise, if you're singing literally like one cover a year, and you already have a microphone, just use the microphone that you already have. Don't fucking purchase another one. And so here's what I use. Oh shit, I went too fast. I said it before, an MXL 990 USB. I don't know if it is still being made. I think it is. But this is my second one of these. I got my first one when I was like 14, I think. I got my second one because the other one was getting dents in it because I was lugging it back and forth when I went to school. So, yeah, because I was also using it. I use this microphone for fucking everything. I use it for Discord calls. I use it for collabs. Well, not collabs. I meant to say streams. Why would I use a different microphone for collabs? That's so stupid. I use it for Discord calls. I use it for streams. I use it for covers. I use this for everything, but there are people who use different microphones for different things. So, you know, that's why I say keep in mind your other mic uses. I have to clear my throat again. I am going to record tonight because, God, if I'm sick, this is not going to be good. Okay. So, I've recorded. What else do I need? Nothing. Technically, you don't need jack shit. Like, you've done what you've needed to do. You don't need to spend more money on anything else, technically. If you want to spend money, that is your call. But if you've recorded and you're happy with the way that it sounds and you're chilling, that's all you need to do. But there are optional things that can help you if you have the room for it in your budget. So that would include mixing and art or a video or whatever. So let's get into this. What is mixing and why do I want it? So mixing, oh my God, can you guys hear this? My brother has COVID, so I'm trying to not get COVID. Again, I don't want to take another break, y'all. Anyway, so it blends or mixes vocals and the instrumental to create a cohesive audio. Let me clear my throat again. Okay, so here's the pros and cons of self-mixing. Depending on what DAW you use, and a DAW is like, I don't remember what it stands for, but it's just like whatever your recording software is. So it could be Reaper, could be FL Studio, could be whatever the hell. It's free, but the quality may be questionable if you don't have any experience in mixing. You might need to like look into how to do this. So that's something to keep in mind because mixing is not easy. Personally, it is something that, oh, thank you, Lotus. Digital audio workstation. Yes. And Mr. B, thank you. So yeah, it's free, but it might not be depending on what software you use. Some of these have like subscription models. Mixcraft, for me, once you buy it, it's yours. So I purchased it and I'm good, but yeah. I find for me, I hate mixing. I am not educated on it. I learned from trial and error. I use a lot of presets in my program. So my mixing is very meh. So if you listen to any of my covers that says like, oh, video and mix by Wonderland Productions, that's me. If there's ever a time where I get my covers mixed by someone else, that is when I specifically name drop someone. So if it says it's by Wonderland Productions, that means I did it myself. So yeah, you can certainly hear a difference. So yeah, but here's the thing with commissioning. The pricing and quality will vary from person to person. So some mixers have a lot of experience and are super great, and some are not. And the pricing is gonna be dependent on that as well. Sometimes mixing can be really cheap, and sometimes it can be very expensive. So you have to take that into consideration as well. If you're like, hey, I don't want to spend a shit ton of money, you might want to learn how to mix yourself. For certain songs, you can get away with the bare minimum. Like, For Song of the Ancients, I didn't really need to do very much to it. Like, I think there were some extra things that I did, but I could have gotten away with just putting reverb on it and calling that good. You know what I mean? Like, technically, I could have just slapped reverb on there, put a compressor on there, and called it a day. But, you know, other songs are going to be more complicated, so, you know. And then, good mixers can make cheap mics sound expensive. Okay, I've had a lot of people say that my mic sounds really good, and it is a USB microphone. I do not have any dials on this bad boy. It is as nude as you can come. Like, a lot of microphones will have, like, little dials for gain or different shit. I don't have those settings. My gain is extremely high, because otherwise I would be very, very quiet. So that's why you can hear so much white noise, because otherwise you literally would not be able to hear me. I would need to be compressed to hell and back, and then I'd sound like shit. So, you know, but it, you know, my microphone is not considered that expensive in the world of microphones. But good mixers can make it sound like I'm using an XLR. You know what I mean? So, that's definitely something to consider as well. If you have a shitty microphone that you feel kind of self-conscious about, like, you know, if you have a ton of, like, pop filter, you know, like, noise, I'm not gonna say a mixer can, like, fix that. And I'm not gonna say that a mixer can take, you know, a $5 Amazon mic and then make it sound like you recorded in Mariah Carey's home studio. But it can make you sound better. And when it comes to mixing, there is a service that is very important, and that's tuning and timing. So what is tuning? Tuning is basically pitch correction. Like, you know how you tune an instrument? You know, like, oh, they'll say, like, oh, this guitar is out of tune, where it just sounds a little questionable. Like, it's a little bit flat or a little bit sharp. And those terms, sharp means that the note sounds a little bit too high than what it's supposed to be, and flat means it sounds a little bit too low for what it's supposed to be. So tuning is pitch correction, but it's meant to be minor. If you're way fucking off, tuning is not going to fix you, because it's going to sound robotic and it's going to sound fake and it's going to distort your voice. So, you know, like, if you sound, like, if you missed a note entirely, you're better off re-recording it, because pitch correction is not going to save your ass. This is for, like, you know, really minor human error shit that is just like, you know, oh, you're just a hair off, let me fix this. That's what that is really for. Usually you can tell if a song is overly tuned, so, you know, just for your awareness. And then timing is very simple. It's literally just making sure that your vocals match the timing of the instrumental. So, like, you know, if you record and send it to a mixer, you might not be 100% on beat, because the instrumental might be set at a different, like, it just might not be lined up like it was for you, like, when you were recording. But if you're going too fast or if you're going too slow, that's a different issue. Like, this is just lining up the beats. But if you're, like, singing way too slow, we're not going to be able to speed that up for you. It's going to sound robotic and weird. Unless you're doing that on purpose. If it's on purpose, fucking tell your mixer that. But, yeah. And then here's something I want to bring up as well. Some people will offer tune and time services, but will not offer mixing services, and vice versa. Some people will offer mixing and not tune and time. So here's the big difference. Mixing is like when you put effects and shit on the vocals. You know, like, it's when you make it make sense with the instrumental. Tuning and timing is just making sure that the quality of your vocals is, like, where it's supposed to be. And I do want to make sure that you guys know as well, though, that many mixers do include tuning and timing in their services. But, like, you might watch a VTuber cover and see, like, oh, somebody did tuning and timing and somebody else did the mixing. That doesn't make sense. It's because some people just are like, I would rather go to this person for the tuning and timing and have this person mix. Or sometimes they just don't offer those services. You know what I mean? So that's what that's all about. Okay, so here's what the video. There are 3 styles I want to go over for video. The number one, not the number one. The first one that I want to go over is lip sync style, which is, like, if you are a VTuber and you already have a model, like me, lip syncing is fine. That is like when you have a background and your model's in front and you're just going, you're you know, you're lip syncing to the song, right? Makes sense. A lot of people do this for songs, especially if it's like done by a Western artist or otherwise like live, you know, like flesh people, you know, flesh tubers, or you get what I mean, like real people. If it's not like an animated PV or something like that, people will definitely want to have their own, because if you're singing over somebody else's music video where it's like their face, it can be a little weird. So, yeah. But here's my personal advice. If you want a lip sync video, but you don't have a model, don't fucking do one. Like, don't make a lip sync style video if you do not have a model already. Because it's like, models are so expensive these days. It's a fortune. Don't do it. Just for a cover. It's not wise. If you are getting like, you know, like a not custom model, like if you're getting a model that's like $10 on Booth, that's totally different. That's totally different if you're getting a model on Booth. But if you're like going to an artist and saying, hey, I want a live 2D model, it's like, do you realize that could cost you like anywhere from like 1K to like 10K? Be careful. Be careful out there, soldiers. Don't do this shit. Oh, and then lip sync style, if you already have a model though, this is generally a very cost-effective way to do a video. Especially with VTube Studio's new settings for video stuff. You can easily have particle effects and all of this shit, you know, already included with your tracking software. So, pretty good. You don't really need Shoost anymore. So, yeah. The art style. So, this is when you get like a custom PV where like your own artwork. And so, this can get expensive very quickly, but it can give you a very special feel for your video, especially if the original video has a hand-drawn PV. If you have your own hand-drawn PV, it can just feel a little bit more like your own. It can feel like this is your thing. I generally prefer to go this route, just because I did grow up with, PV is promotional video. So it's the same thing as a music video. It's just, I say PV because I'm in the Vocaloid scene, and that's what you see most often. So it'll be like, oh, this is the PV for World Is Mine. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what they say. But, or at least that's what they said back in my day. You're an utaite. I guess, yeah. I guess so. I guess I'm a VSINGER who mostly works with Vocaloid shit, so I guess like that is the closest thing that you could say. So yeah. But yeah, generally like I like to mimic the feel of the original video in my covers. So I generally prefer to get like art for this. And I can also say it can really make your cover stand out and feel unique compared to other people, because it's like they'll look at it and it'll be like, oh, this is like special art for this video. Like, you know, it can look really nice, but it really can get expensive, and it can take a lot more time because you're like relying on an artist to get it done, and artists are their own people with their own lives, their own schedules. So, you know, if you have a certain date you want your song to come out by, you really need to communicate that. And then the default style is only applicable to songs that already have PVs. So, I have some examples of this, and also this is free. As long as you give credits, you're fine. You don't need to pay to use the original video. So here are some examples of these from my own covers. So in the lip sync style, that is my cover of Snowman by Haliosi, before the re-rec version. This came out last year. So I just put the Project Diva video in the background. I recorded some footage from Project Diva. And so I just put that in the background. I used Shoost for it, and I had myself in front lip syncing the song. So that didn't cost me any money to do because I already had the game and it was fine, but pain in the ass to edit. The art style is, this is my cover of Social Path by Stray Kids. I bit my tongue a little bit. By Stray Kids featuring Lisa. So that was a video where, you know, it's obviously a K-pop group, so the music video featured real people. And I did not want to, I didn't want to use the default video because it would feel really weird to have my voice while there's like a bunch of footage of K-pop boys on screen. It wouldn't feel right. So I really wanted to have something my own here. So I got some art commissioned on Skeb. And then the last style is the default style for Ego Rock by Sri. And yeah, I just used the default video for Ego Rock. Didn't do anything special to it, just slapped it on there and called it good. The video style is so distinct. It's 3D animated. I just was like, I don't want to recreate this. I think it's perfect as it is, so I left it alone. So yeah, that is some examples of all those styles, and you can find those all on my YouTube channel, so nice. And then how do I find people to commission? The first place I would recommend is Skeb or VGen. Skeb is a Japanese website, but it's in English, so it's fine. And then VGen is very similar to Skeb, but specifically for Western artists. So Skeb is for Japanese artists. In order to open commissions on this website, you need to have a Japanese bank account. So yeah, if you're a Western artist and you want to do commissions on Skeb, you cannot do that, as far as I'm aware. That's why we have VGen, which is for basically everybody else. But you can commission no matter where you are. So yeah, that is a great place to find people, especially for artists. So yeah, I would recommend that for artists mostly on Skeb, but on VGen you can find mixers, you can find video people, you can basically find everything on VGen. It's just that not everyone who has commissions is on VGen. There are a lot of people in the VTuber community in the Western side that do not have accounts on VGen, so something to consider. Another place is Twitter, so that's where I find a lot of people. I'll find, I'll be searching for different people for different things, and that's how it comes up. Before we had VGen, this was the most common way for me to find people to work with, but I'm very fortunate in that I'm mutuals with some people, so if I'm mutuals with somebody, I kind of want to go to them first, because they already kind of are like, oh, I know who you are, and I'm like, cool. But the last place, and the place that I would recommend you go to for services like mixing especially, are other VTubers. If there's a VTuber where it's like you really love their covers, or there's a specific cover of theirs that you really, really like and you want to go for a similar vibe, check the credits for the cover. If they don't list the credits, that's a little foul. But most people will list the credits for who they worked with for the cover. I certainly do. So you can usually find the artist and the video person and the mixer and everything in the description of the YouTube video. So that is a great way. And then you'll probably find them on their Twitter. You know what I mean? So it's just a great way to do that. Now, that being said, let's say somebody did a cover of King, and you really like this person's King cover, and you want to commission all of the people. So it's you want to get that same artist, you want to get that same video person, and you want to get that same mixer because you also want to do King. Maybe don't go that hard, because you don't want to copy this person's video either. It's perfectly fine to discover people through other people's work. I think it's a wonderful thing. But make sure that you have your own vision for stuff like that too. So yeah, if you want to use the same artist for the same song, I don't really see a problem with it. But if you get the entire same team, it's kind of looks a little weird. You get what I mean? But here's some general advice I have for commissioning if you've never commissioned before. And even if you have, it's a good refresher. Can I get out of the way? There we go. So, before commissioning any individual for any service, it is always advisable to, number 1, review your budget, and number 2, check the terms of service. So, like, you always want to make sure, like, it's like, oh, I really love this person's work, but, like, you know, they cost $600 and I can only afford $100. Do not go over your budget for that. Like, work your way up to that, especially if it's your first cover. If it's your first cover and you're like, oh, I really want to commission some stuff, I have some room to do it, it's totally fine. Set a reasonable budget for yourself. So, you know, and then, yeah, check the terms of service on the person's website. Because if you need a refund for any reason, a lot of people are not cool with refunds, especially like full refunds. A lot of people are like, if I've started work, you're not going to get a refund, or the most you can get is like a 50% refund. So be aware of that, because if you're like feeling iffy about a project, like, you shouldn't make any commissions until you know that you're good about it. Generally, it's best to like not commission anybody until you have everything recorded, unless you already have a relationship with the person. So yeah. And make sure you have a contract so your money doesn't disappear. I don't really, a lot of people don't do contracts. Like, you might fill out a Google form and you might get a PayPal invoice or something, but I don't think I've really ever done contracts. A lot of these people are freelancers who like don't have like a business name. Hi, Lily. Hello. I would say that a lot of people don't do contracts, so I wouldn't say it's a priority to make sure that they have a contract, but I do think it's important to make sure that everything is in writing. Don't agree to a commission and just have it be like a Discord call. Make sure you have it written, like, in your chat logs, whether it be through Twitter, email, Discord, something. It's up to you. It's your responsibility to keep your own records of it. But yeah, generally just like do your own research for that kind of thing. I know for me, I'm very careful. If you're doing like a website like Skeb or VGen, you don't really need to worry about your money disappearing, because if, like, I can't really speak on VGen because like it's never happened to me, but on Skeb, if you know, there's a time limit to get your commission done, and if the artist doesn't get the commission done in time, you get a full refund. So, you know, it's like your money is taken out, but like it will be returned to you if the artist does not fulfill their end of the bargain. You know what I mean? So I would say, especially if you're a beginner, you can find a lot of really talented cheaper artists on Skeb who can get it back to you. And then also, if you don't get your work, like if you don't get what you commissioned, you can get your money back and you don't even need to do anything. The website will automatically refund your money. So, you know, you don't need to talk to your bank or anything. So I would definitely recommend Skeb for art. And then going to other VTubers for things like video and Twitter. Or not Twitter, sorry, for video and mix. Excuse me. And then you can contact those people on Twitter usually. So, in conclusion, sing songs that you feel good singing and that you like. Do not sing shit that you don't actually like, and don't sing shit that does not feel good to sing. If you find that your voice hurts for any reason, cut it the fuck out. Just like lower the key or sing a different song. I don't know, but like, if you're not having fun and if you're not feeling good, like, it's not worth it to do. Don't make big investments unless you're confident in what you're doing. Like, if you are like, I'm gonna buy this $1,000 microphone because I've been streaming forever, I just never did a cover before, and I really want to do a cover, or a couple, I want to get started with covers, but I'm gonna use this microphone for everything, then okay. Like, if you want to spend $1,000 on a microphone, sure. But if you're kind of like, I want to try this thing, but I don't know if I'm going to like it, do not spend that much money. It is money that you probably will not be able to get back. So, yeah, there's a reason why I was pre-debut for so long, and I had, you know, a cheaper model, and I had, you know, pre-made assets and stuff. I didn't invest in things like a logo and all this other shit until I was like, you know what, I really enjoy streaming. I'm gonna debut. So just be smart with it. And that includes equipment and commissions. You know, if you can get away with like just using the default video, you're probably fine with that. You know what I mean? Or like if you want to do things yourself, like if you want to draw for yourself, if you want to do the video yourself, try to cut costs where you can in the beginning. Don't make huge investments until you know what you're doing. And then I say pace yourself. So like what this means is like don't compare yourself to others. Because I think that this is something that a lot of people fall into, even myself. I think that everybody, like, it's natural to kind of compare yourself to other people, especially in the VTubing industry where it is so oversaturated. There are so many people who are doing the same shit as you, and it's hard to stand out because, you know, it's like, on one hand, VTubing is getting more and more expensive, but it's also becoming more and more accessible. So it's hard to kind of make your own path, right? But I think what is so important is that, you know, if you're looking at someone and you're like, oh my God, they are doing so much better than me. They're so much more popular than me. Their covers sound so much better than mine. Here are some things to think about. Number one, when did they start posting? You know, like if you're brand new, if you just started in 2023 and you're comparing yourself to someone who started VTubing in 2021, you're doing yourself a disservice because that person had 2 whole years ahead of you. You know what I mean? You can't make that comparison. Even if you've been singing privately, you know, if somebody's been posting publicly for that long, it's just, you can't do that because, like, you know, your offline experience doesn't count for your online experience. You know what I mean? Your audience isn't gonna know that. So, you know, or it's like if somebody is like, oh my God, well, this person is pulling so much, you know, higher numbers than me on Twitch. How often are they streaming? How, you know, are they streaming every single day, 8 hours a day? Like, if you aren't able to do that, don't beat yourself up over it. Your journey is different. So it's like it takes time to build up these skills that will help you later. So as far as music goes, just like know that, you know, the most important thing is that you're having fun, because I can't speak for everyone, but as a singer myself, I think we all sing. I can tell if somebody is doing a cover because they want numbers. I can tell if somebody is doing a cover because they think it's going to do something for them, not because they actually like the song or because they actually like to sing. So for me personally, if somebody is covering King because it's a popular song and not because they like it, I can see through that. And it's like, I like to believe that other people can see that too. Other people can tell if you're not having a good time, if you're not feeling any passion, because it's like, if you're not having a good time, how can you expect other people to have a good time? You know what I mean? So it's like, just do the things that you want to do with music. If you want to sing fucking idol anime songs, go for it. You know, who's gonna stop you? Bushiroad? If you want to sing Disney songs, go for it. Just be careful, because the mouse is a strong guy. If you want to do Vocaloid songs, there's a whole plethora of them for you to go to. If you want to do anime songs, go for it. If you want to do K-pop songs, go for it. If you want to do Western songs, go for it, but be very careful with copyright there too. So, you know, it's like, do what you want to do, because other people will see your enthusiasm. They will hear it. They will feel it. So, yeah, that's what I think. Does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any questions at the end of this college lecture here? What are some popular boy idol songs? TLDR, watch out for Western copyright, so true. As far as popular boy idol songs. Could you elaborate on what you mean by idol songs? Are you saying like shit that is like actual idol stuff? Or are you talking about like what are songs that male VTubers do? So I don't listen to a ton of like, I mean, like, if you're talking about in more of like a Japanese style, I don't know a ton, to be honest with you. For like idol stuff, like IRL idol stuff, I would say, generally, yeah, Honeyworks would be a good source. I would say also, generally going to idol anime for inspiration is usually pretty good. So like when I think of idol anime, I think of Ensemble Stars, I think of Idolish 7, I think of Uta no Prince Sama. I think that any of those would be good choices because all of those have very dedicated fan bases. Like Happy Go, does that say Lucky? The emoji thing is blocking it. Let me see on YouTube. Oh, Happy Go Idol music, okay. I haven't seen a lot of VTubers doing boy idol songs. Yeah, so sorry for clearing my throat, everybody. Yeah, I think I would assume that a lot of these anime would have like official instrumental releases. Generally, I would say try not to cover songs that don't have official instrumental releases because, at least in terms of like Eastern music, because if there's not an official instrumental released, the company probably doesn't want it to be covered. And I mean that in the sense of like you might have some copyright problems. I feel like it's just a lack of male VTubers doing music and having a focus on the whole idol. Yes. A lot of male VTubers do not go the idol route. In my experience, I've seen a lot of male VTubers kind of focus more on the gaming aspect of VTubing. And then if they do music, it's not like an idol way, if that makes sense. Like, you know, your traditional, like Japanese idol way. So, yeah, if it was me, I'd probably go to a source like Ensemble Stars or Idolish 7 or something like that. You could also go the K-pop route, but again, a lot of K-pop songs do not have official instrumental releases. So I would be very careful with that. Because again, I just would worry about instrumental stuff. Like, if Social Path didn't have an official instrumental release, I would not have done it. Full stop. Because I love the song, but I just would be nervous about copyright issues. Lily says, it's also more common to go for whatever is trendy lately. Yes, 100%. A lot of people, like, there are some producers in the Vocaloid scene, especially, where if they release a new song, every motherfucker is jumping on that and recording it and getting it out the next day. So I'm thinking of people like, the first person that comes to mind is Kanaria. Kanaria is the producer behind King. They did, Yoidore Shirazu. I think that's what it's called. The drinking song. They did, Identity. They did Requiem. They did Demon I keep wanting to say Demon Road. It's Demon Lord. They do all of these songs, and everybody jumps on it as soon as they release a new song. Always. The other one is Deco Nina, Deco 27. Deco Nina's songs are very popular to cover. I would say a lot of people do those as well. One last question I have is, I really want to improve my live singing, and it's said that I'm tone deaf. I am thinking of extreme practicing where I scale my vocals like a tuning device. I don't know what you mean. I don't really know what you mean by that. Cause like when I think of a tuning device, I think of like this, like for my guitar, like there's like a little thingy that I can attach to my guitar, and Like if I hit a note, it'll tell me what note it's hitting, but like I can adjust it then to hit the note that it's supposed to hit. So I'm like, so if you're trying to do it, wait, like recognizing the key you're in and matching your voice to the key. But I don't think that that's gonna be great either, just because, like, even I can't tell you what key a song is in. I have a hard time with that. I can tell you notes that are being hit, but I've always struggled with, being able to, yeah, it's better to match the key of the song to you rather than the other way around. Yeah, I would agree with that as well. I would say, like, it's not necessarily about the key. It's about actually hitting notes. So that's something where I think the vocal warm-ups and exercises would really be great. And I think that that's something especially where if you record yourself, I can't even tell what notes my vocals are using. See, that's the thing. You don't need to know the name of the notes. But, like, if you're doing vocal warm-ups with a piano and you are singing along to it and recording, right, you can listen back, and if you notice a clash on your, on, like, between your vocal and the piano note, that can tell you, okay, this is where I'm wrong. So I think that helps. I think that the best thing that you can do to improve your ability to, like, hit certain notes is to improve your listening skills. And not in terms of, you're not listening to me. It's literally like, you need to just, like, hear what pitch this note is. You need to hear what pitch you're singing. You need to hear, you know, what notes sound good with this. Stuff like that. I really think that singing along with a piano and listening back to it will really, really be helpful in that case. And I think that kind of playing around with MIDI files would be really helpful as well. So a MIDI file is like, have you ever seen those videos of, like, a piano where it's like, it's obviously like a computer, but it's like synesthesia where you're seeing the notes come in. All of those are being played with MIDI files. And so you can download that, and I mean, you can't download the exact MIDI file in every single video, but a lot of people publish MIDI files, and you can download them and open it up in your in your program and kind of play around with where the notes are. So you can see, like, oh, like, if you bring this note down a little bit, you can be like, oh, that's the note that I'm hitting. I need to go a little bit higher. I need to bring it up a little bit higher. And again, a lot of these vocal exercises will teach you some things, but if you want to go really extreme and, like, really go in, I would probably recommend getting a vocal coach for that, because that is someone who is, like, educated in helping teach people how to sing. So it's like, if you consider yourself tone deaf and you want to learn how to sing, I do really think that probably getting a vocal coach is going to be the best thing that you can do. It will be a little bit more expensive, but I think that getting that expert feedback is going to help you progress the fastest. And you'll probably learn a couple of really good techniques as well, because when you are that early in your journey, the vocal coach is probably not going to be teaching you style. So you don't need to worry about musical theater style or pop style or whatever it is you're going for. They can just teach you the basic fundamentals of, like, this is how we're gonna help you get to just the base level of what you want to do. Because once you have those skills developed, once you feel confident in hitting a note, then you can go on and do other things. And you don't need the vocal coach for that. You know what I mean? My goal is to be able to sing the notes purely by remembering how they sound. I would say that's very difficult for most people. I remember being in choir, and a lot of girls would want to, like, sing solos, and they would be in the wrong key because they weren't. It's like in order to be in the right key, they need to hear the first note played on the piano first, and then they can do it. but going from memory, they're always starting a little lower or a little higher. So that being able to like remember the note without having any assistance is something called perfect pitch. And I'll be honest with you, I don't fully know if that is something that can be learned. I'm sure it is, but that is very much so a listening skill. So that, yeah, I would say that's less of a singing thing and more of a listening thing, because that has to do more with your memory. So yeah, I don't think that has as much to do with, you know, I don't think that that's anything to say like, oh, can you sing good? It's literally like, you know, that's why I think that having that MIDI guide is so helpful when you're singing a cover, because then you don't need to like question it as much. You're literally listening to it as you're going. So that's what I would recommend. I think that that's helpful. But yeah, I hope that answer helps a little bit. I know that it's not perfect. I am not a vocal coach. I don't have an education in it. I'm just a little guy. But I hope that does help a little. But yeah, any other questions? Will you stream more often? I stream on Twitch mostly. Thank you. Yeah, I'm primarily a Twitch streamer. I am streaming Reisa to the Rescue today because obviously Reisa to the Rescue is my show, my little short show here on YouTube. So it felt weird to stream this over on Twitch, where that's not where the content is. I want to be able to put this in the playlist. But, excuse me. Yeah, I generally stream. I've been on a little bit of a break. Because of health reasons. I had to get surgery done, and I was ill, and I'm very nervous I'm gonna be sick again because my brother has COVID, so, we'll see. But, yeah, I mostly stream on Twitch. I mostly play Nintendo games on there. I need more web novels or webtoons to read. Any favorites you have? So I was thinking more like music questions, but that's okay. I don't read those. I don't know anything about web novels or webtoons. I am so sorry. I don't know where people go to find those. I am not educated in that. I am so sorry. Breathing is the most important thing. I'm still focusing on that myself. Yeah, breath support is very important to power your vocals. That's another reason why so many people do things in multiple takes, because some songs do not have a ton of room to breathe. So, I know I will like sing I'll sing a full line and then I'll run out of breath at the end, and then I'll come in and I'll do another take, and it'll be like half of the line that I'm doing to just supplement. So let me see. If it's learnable, it's very difficult to acquire. Gotcha. Yeah. I would say so, yeah. It depends on what you're trying to learn. Actually, I wonder how long does the production of a cover take? That depends on what you're doing yourself and what all you want to have for it. So, for one of my covers, let's say it's one of my standard covers that has original art and, but like I'm doing the video myself and I have somebody else do the mix. So, once I actually sit down to recording will take me usually anywhere between 1 to 3 days, depending on how many tracks I have to record. So it's like, if it's just like a simple melody line and then just one harmony or something, it might just take me a day. But if I have to do like a lot of layers, if I have to, you know, sing the melody twice to get a double effect, or something like that, it might take me a little bit longer, especially if I have to go into my chest voice for octave stuff, because I find that like my voice is very fickle. So sometimes I sound really good. Like there are certain days where my voice just sounds fucking awesome. And there are days where I sound like I cannot hit a note to save my life. So if I'm like on a day where my voice sounds terrible, then maybe I'll only do octave, like my chest voice stuff, because usually my chest voice is pretty reliable, but the range is very limited. So I'll usually do some chest voice stuff on a day like that. But otherwise, yeah, I would say recording takes about 2 to 3 days. My mixer is very, very fast. He gets shit done. I mean, he gets shit done in usually like 3 days or less, depending on his workload. If he has other shit going on and he's like, hey, I can't get this done until next week, then like it'll take a week. But it's not that he's taking that long. It's just usually like he cannot get to it until then. So he usually gets shit done. I would say 99% of the time I get shit back to me. Whoa, almost got my phone knocked over. He usually gets shit back to me in 2 days, I would say. Artwork is what takes the longest. Since I usually go through Skeb, art can take anywhere from like 4 days to 3 months. It can take a really long time to get art back. I find that generally Western artists are faster, but they may charge more. So that is something to consider. And then, yeah, if I'm doing the video myself, you'll notice that the videos that I'm doing for myself are very, very simple. I use a program called AVIUTL, which is a free Japanese program, but it's very limited because there are a bunch of cool things you can do with it, but they're all the tutorials and shit are in Japanese, and there's nothing explained in English really, so and a lot of shit doesn't work either, because I have an English patched version, so it's not great. But yeah, if I'm working on a video myself, I'll usually be able to get it done in like 6 hours or less. So yeah, if I am doing a video where I'm lip syncing, then filming, I'll usually dedicate a day, like not a full day. When I say it takes a day, I don't mean a full 24 hours. I mean like I'll do it, in a couple hours on a day. If I'm filming a lip syncing video, I'll probably be filming for like, on one day. It'll probably take me like 2 or 3 hours, just because I want to make sure I get good takes and whatnot. Have to check it, have to set it up. But yeah, I would say that's it. So if I'm doing like a lip syncing video and I'm getting a mix commission, I can probably get a cover done in like 2 weeks. Or a week and a half, more like it. Because it also depends on what I'm doing, like, outside of this. So, if I'm streaming that week and whatnot, so, yeah. It varies. It can take anywhere between a week and a half to 3 months. So, yeah. But other people may have different experiences. That's all I can speak on, is my own, so... any other questions? The what? What is that? No. I don't know what this is. Oh, the IPA has widespread use among classical singers. Yeah, no, I'm definitely not a classical singer. So, I don't know shit about that. Yeah, no. I did take a linguistic class in college though. But no, I do not know how to read that. But yeah. I don't want this to be too terribly long because I don't want the VOD to be too difficult to digest. So I think we will probably call it here. I do need to get ready to leave as well because I have to go to a doctor's appointment for my grippers. Gotta make sure that my surgery is healing okay. So I thought my cat wasn't here for a second. I realized she wasn't. Okay. I hope your studies are going well, bud. But yeah, okay. With that all being said, thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching me live. I really appreciate it. And I know that this wasn't a very funny episode of Races to the Rescue. It's not my usual Races to the Rescue stuff, but I have had several questions relating to music, so I just wanted to lump them all in and get them all answered. And then we probably won't have a new episode next week, just because at this point it's really a bi-weekly show. So I'll plan for 2 weeks from now to get a new episode, like a new regular episode out. And yeah, I will see you guys later. Thank you again so much for showing up and asking questions, and I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for the support. Keep watching my shit so that we can unlock monetization. I need more watch hours. So okay, thank you guys. Bye bye.